What is up, everybody? Hope you're having a great Monday. It's May 1st, man, and a lot of things going on. Man, it's exciting. I feel like the last month flew by. We had CCL this past week. Now we go CCL tomorrow. A lot going on. Also, MLS, big weekend of MLS. Some teams continue to ride the high ride, and other teams, man, they are what they are. Unfortunately, we see SKC, we see what's going on with the Galaxy. A lot going on, but here to help me talk about everything, we got Justin Ruderman. Justin, how you doing?
Doing well, man. It was nice to have a little weekend off as far as LAFC goes between the CCL matches. So a little relaxing watching on Apple TV and enjoying the Saturday slate of games.
Yeah. Which games did you enjoy watching this week, or you just skimmed through what caught your eye this weekend?
Yeah, I think I was watching the Columbus Inter Miami game. That's why I started off with at least. Obviously, the first game was Nashville Atlanta, which I watched. Nashville, really handled that game. It never felt like Atlanta really had a chance. They got the penalty through Almada, but never really felt like Atlanta had a chance in that game. But yeah, I thought the Inter Miami Columbus one was a good game because you expected Columbus to go in there and really dominate the game, probably win by a few goals. Inter Miami end up with a shock result after coming off of I think 5 straight losses, if I'm not mistaken, in the league. So it's a big turning point for them. And Benjamin Kramashi, their youngster, looked fantastic in the number 10 position. So that was a fun one to watch. I missed the first half of New England FC Cincinnati. Everyone said that was like one of the best first halves or best halves in any sense of the season. I turned it on the second half. It was much more boring in the second half. Austin San Jose, I thought was a pretty good one. And then, of course, SKC, just if you lose 2-0 at home to the one team that might be worse than you in the league, man, you're really down bad, SKC.
Yeah, and look, the one thing that I saw all over Twitter was Johnny Russell. The video he was just saying, he said he just said he didn't know how to fix it. They didn't know how to fix what they got going on. You see, that look, it's unfortunate what's going on with the SKC and the other Galaxy as well. But that video just seeing is just the real raw emotion that it's just like it's rock bottom. When you see a team like that, a team I think a lot of people expect it to be a lot better than they are. I don't think they've won a game at all this season, and it's crazy because it goes to show. Look, you they're in this league and everything. You're not guaranteed success, right? You're not guaranteed success. So I think it's also things that the what we see LAFC doing consistently throughout their, was it 5 years now as a club. They probably had one bad year, but you're not guaranteed to have success, even if you have big name players or anything like that. And when you see, I think to me, it's just a reminder of how hard it is to play in professional sports and how quickly things can go just very, very sour, right? You see, like also with Austin, right? They had one of the most amazing years last year. Obviously, they're struggling. SKC struggling. LA Galaxy struggling. But that also opens up the door for other teams, to potentially, if these teams can't do it, there's other teams around the leagues like, hey, maybe this is our year. Maybe we can make a deep run. I just want to get your thoughts. I don't know if you saw the Johnny Russell clip. It's been all over. At least the MLS people keep tweeting it. But what were your thoughts on that and seeing how down he is?
Yeah, I mean, it's just evidence of the situation in SKC in that it is as bad within the organization as it looks from the outside, and that's what you can tell when you hear a player talking that way. That they don't know what the answers are. They've tried things and it's not working, so they don't know at this point. And to hear that from your star player and Johnny Russell and captain, it's tough to hear. I mean, I don't know if he's still captain. Eric Tommy's been captaining a few times this year as well. But point being, they have good players, as you said. Yes, they've had injuries with Gadikinda and Pulido, but Pulido's back and they're still struggling. And Graham Zusi was their guy. He's fallen off of a cliff, I think. And I think that it's tough because you also have one of the most historic managers in MLS, and Peter Vermees, who's had a great history in this league. And you, after a 12th place finish last season in the Western Conference, a very bad season, you then gave him a 5-year extension, and he's continuing to just go downhill. To me, that was just a really confusing decision. I understand his history, but now you're in a situation where you want to sack your manager, but it's really difficult based on his contract.
Yeah, look, and I think that obviously he's definitely on the hot seat. I would also add Greg Vanny from the Galaxy on the hot seat. I feel like
So,
coaches.
yeah.
I feel like coaches or situations like that where they're at, like Peter Vermees and Greg Vanny, I feel like they've already lost the locker room, and in the sense of some players aren't buying what the coach is preaching anymore. And you could just tell, at least for me, when player says I don't know how to fix it and everything, like things can change, but anytime I think an organization's going through certain things like that, and you hear players talk about that, and it's just frustration. And I think when your coach is trying to get you to win and trying to do all these different things, but you've seen what's been going on this season. You got some players are going to start to wonder, like, hey, maybe he's not the guy. Maybe we need to start doing our. That's when players start taking things into their own hands, and then you don't really start playing like as a team because the coaches start preaching one thing, but the player in their mind, like, no, I don't feel like we should be doing it this way, and then you're going to start seeing more the individual type of performance, because when you're a team, right, you need everybody riding on the same going on the same route. And I feel like these teams that are bad right now, they're not they everybody's going on their own way, and they're going to try to figure out, because at the end of the day, right, it does, like, when it comes to sports, it is a business. And some of these players may not be here this upcoming summer, and they may not be here at the end of this year, so they still got to perform individually for their next team or next opportunity. So I think we're going to start seeing some of these players start to do things that maybe doesn't align with what the coaching is preaching, what the coach is preaching, because right now it doesn't seem to work.
I mean, yeah, I'm one to think that that never works. Soccer's a team game, so if you're not playing as a team, you're not going to win, and that would only make a situation worse. Whether you're talking about SKC or Galaxy, I think personally, I think they're different situations. I don't see Vanny as in such of a hot seat. Personally, I did a video for my YouTube channel on the five managers I think are in the hot seat right now. I didn't include Vanny,
Really,
but I
really, you
think
didn't
the
include
argue
Vanny?
no, because I do think that there are about 10 managers really in the league that could be argued to be on the hot seat. And I didn't include somebody like Oscar Pareja, who I think, Orlando City are in a similar position to Galaxy, where it's like they should be competing near the top of the Western Conference when you think about that team, right? On paper. But they're really in, the edge of playoff spot areas in the Eastern versus Western Conference. And so they're way underperforming, but it's also a situation where you don't see the manager necessarily leaving soon, but maybe the organization as a whole is looking into that next manager at this time and thinking, well, if this continues, he's gone at the end of the season or something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, to me, I think, look, Greg Vanny has had 3 years as a coach. And that, what is it, 3 years, right? And that is a long time in in the world of football. That's just a long time. And I think anytime you have, like I've said this previously, anytime you have players like Chicharito, Ricky Puig, and I guess you could say Douglas Costa, but I would even add Dejan Joveljic, and you can't make those pieces work. And you've had the opportunity to go out and recruit, get the French players that you brought in, and get the names that you wanted to bring in, and try to force your system, right? Because he tends to go with the 4-3-3 system, but he hasn't been able to adjust to the players that he has, to the roster that he has. And that to me is why he's on the hot seat. And also you're constantly losing the battle here in LA and what's going on. And I think what he has done previously, but what he did last year was obviously right. They went to to LAFC. They lost in a game breaking fashion. But this season, I haven't seen any progression. And yes, it's been a slow start. But when you're in the biggest market, to me, LA is the biggest market when it comes to football, right? To me, everything runs through LA when it comes to soccer. And you're having that bad of a performance. You don't have to be towards the top, but you're literally second to the bottom next to SKC. And just with these names, with Chicharito, with Ricky Puig, with Dejan Joveljic, and the team that they had, they should not be this bad right now. And I think that reflects on the coaching, and that reflects on certain players not really buying what the coaching is preaching. because it's not seemed to work. And that to me is why Greg Vanney is on the hot seat. And I know there's other lists, but look, this is the biggest market when it comes to this, and we expect a certain level of expectation, and you should feel all the pressure and all these different things because you're able to attract more players in this city that you could that other than SKC or Orlando. It's just because it's a big city, and players want to come here. Those one of the things. So that to me is why he's on the hot seat.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that argument. I just don't put him in the. I just think there are a lot of managers in MLS in the hot seat right now, and I don't put him in the top echelon. No, I genuinely believe that. I really think you can make a solid argument. There's
Yeah.
10 managers who should get fired, genuinely. So that's the thing to me is there's a lot, and I think that Vanney doesn't stack up to a somebody like Peter Vermees who finished 12th in the league in the West last season and is regressing from there. Vanney did finish 4th in the league last season and only had Ricky Puig at the end of it, right? So, he is still. I think you can if he turns the season around and finishes playoffs and does those things, it's not a bad season for
Well,
Galaxy.
okay, let's talk about that because you bring up an interesting point. But what would be like? How could you turn this around? Like at the end of the day, they've talked about winning championships. I don't see
Well,
them
I don't
winning.
think that their roster is built for that. So I don't think that you can expect Greg Vanney to win a championship with that roster. I predicted them 5th in the Western Conference coming into the season, and that was only because I think Ricky Puig is one of the most talented players, if not the most, in the entire league. So, when you have a player like that, I think that you can build such a foundation around him. But I don't think that. But I think you have to have a more pieces to be able to win a championship in this league when you're competing
Mhm.
with. You look at LAFC, you look at Seattle Sounders, you look at even St. Louis City, or the levels above them.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that that's what I'm
No,
saying.
I
They
get
they
it.
they want to win a championship, but I was like, I don't see that. I don't
No,
see that.
I completely agree with what you're saying, and that's why when Chris Klein made that statement about, well, I'll resign if we don't make playoffs. Well, 9 teams in the Western Conference make playoffs. Like that's not a good bar for
That
LA Galaxy to
yeah,
set,
yeah, I know.
right? You're the winningest team in MLS history. That's not an okay bar for Galaxy, right? So I think
Yeah.
that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Let's turn the page because obviously we have LAFC who is and obviously they won the championship. They're the better team and a lot more fun to watch. Their games are fun. They're entertaining. You don't get bored watching their games. I'll tell you that. You're always at the edge of your seat of what's going on, and they're actually competing for something at the CCL, which is amazing to see. And obviously the first round. I mean, Philadelphia versus LAFC. This is always a great game. Ended up 1-1. An insane game. Colin Costa got a handball, which you and I were talking about before. I was like, I try to look at the replay. Was it a handball? Was it? I don't know. They called it, and then he comes back and gets the game winning or game tying goal at the 90th plus minute. What'd you think about that game? What'd you think about obviously Kellen Costa? Was it a handball or was it not? And obviously the game tomorrow.
Yeah, well, the handball, it's just tough, right? It's one where you can't really tell, and I think that's what you were describing there. But for me, when you can't tell, you then can't overturn it on VAR, right? That means it's not clear and obvious, which is the standard in order to overturn things with VAR. So for me, it wasn't clear and obvious. It wasn't enough to overturn the call on the field. But it is a toss up like that, and I Kellen mentioned something in an LAFC video about, oh, I feel bad about giving up the handball. I don't know if that means he actually thinks it's a handball because he was rubbing his head immediately, trying to play off that it hit his head during the play. So a very confusing situation, hard one to call. But then he then gets the equalizer to make up for it, very soon after. A great ball in from Tillman. So yeah, that was a wild ending to the game, a game that was a real stalemate, and I think that's what a lot of these games between LAFC and Philadelphia are. I
Mhm.
think on aggregate, or even I think every single game in the past 5 through regular time or even extra time um, are even, right? They've all tied, and the only difference is LAFC won on penalties in MLS Cup. So these teams are as even as it gets, and I think that. Tomorrow, you're going to see, well, maybe we see them finally split apart.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, these teams are neck and neck. They're just so even on how they play and everything like that. They just they how you're always gonna expect this game to be tight and these games to be physical. And one team may score a goal or may do this. And obviously LAFC, they went to the PKs. We were there at the final, which was an insane final. Just the motion just went back and forth, back and forth. I expect nothing else but the same tomorrow, Tuesday, right? It's gonna be exciting. Look, I think LAFC has a great opportunity. Kellen Acosta getting that goal that at the end is so massive for them, especially in this game too. Because if they get one goal here tomorrow, then Philadelphia will have to get two goals, right, in order to offset it with the current CCL rules. But yeah, I think to me tomorrow's game is going to be depending how they play. It's going to be big, and I think also you're going to see, right. Danny Buanga had a couple opportunities. You had Carlos Vela, who he ended up getting subbed off a little early. But you look, there's gonna be so much going on here in this game, and they're one game away from going to the CCL final. Since the last time was, I think, the 2020 season was when they went there. And to me, look, I've seen the other teams in the Liga MX teams, but LAFC right now is the hottest team like in North America. But they got to get through Philadelphia and obviously go through the final. Yeah, obviously you can't look ahead because Philly's such a strong team, but I expect the same thing that happened in the MLS Cup final. I expect LAFC go through. It's going to be a tough one tomorrow, but I expect LAFC go through. What do you think are some things that LAFC should do tomorrow, could do to get this win over Philadelphia?
Yeah, I think it's going to be about how defensively solid you can be. Can you stay compact and soak up pressure when need be? Because Philadelphia are going to come out with a ton of energy. They're going to want to score goals on LAFC, which is not the way that Philadelphia normally play. Philadelphia are a defensive-based team. They want to hit you on the counter attack. But that is not how Philadelphia are going to have to play in a second leg, which makes this a very, very intriguing matchup to me because it's going to open up a lot of spaces. I think we're going to have a more end-to-end and probably a very exciting game because of the way that Philadelphia are going to be forced to come out and score goals because of that away goal that you mentioned. Kellen Acosta scoring that is crucial because if Philadelphia were to come to LA with a 1-0 lead, they're likely going to sit back and defend and try and hold on to that lead. But that's not what we're going to see, which is really, really exciting. And as you mentioned, yeah, if LAFC were to score one, Philly don't need two. They need one to send it to extra time. But then a second goal for Philly. If Philly were to score two, then LAFC then need to score three on the day. Right. So that is why Philadelphia away goals are such a big thing and play a big part. And then you also have to think, well, Tigres, if they win, they're currently hosting the second leg, and LAFC want to host that second leg. So they need the 3 points in this game as well to have that chance at hosting the second leg of the final if they were to get there. So a lot of different components in this game to look for.
So hold on, say that again. Okay, what's the breakdown? So if LAFC wins, they can host the second leg of the final?
If Tigres were to draw or lose their match, yes. But
Okay.
if Tigres, it's in Tigres' hands. It's in Tigres' hands right now. If they were to move on with a draw and LAFC win, LAFC hosts the second leg. If they were to move on with a win, Tigres hosts the second leg.
Gotcha.
And if they were to,
the second leg is crucial because that's where you could decide. So yeah, that makes it interesting. That's gonna be interesting. But look, you obviously got to get through this first game. And expect, just there's going to be, I think also you're going to have someone that comes off the bench or someone that's going to have a crucial slide tackle, a crucial goal, or crucial assist for LAFC in order to move on, because how we talked about how these teams are so neck and neck. And the only thing that I wish this game was like on a weekend or on at least a Thursday or something. It's unfortunate that it has to be on a Tuesday, but look, that we'll take it. But that's just the way these games end up being. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it because this is going to bring out the excitement. Look, there's so much going on right now in the world of sports, right? You got LAFC versus Philadelphia here in the semifinal. You also got the Lakers versus the Warriors opening up the series. I think hockey's going on as well. So a lot to look forward to. Oh my God, you would. Are you? Oh my goodness. Where's my Lakers? You would wear that. I was gonna. I was gonna wear my Lakers jersey, but look, we got the Lakers in the house. I forget you're from. I forget you're from NorCal.
From Oakland, man, from the Bay. That's where. I mean, they left us. They're in San
They
Francisco
left
now, but
you. They
still,
left you
but
for a
there's,
reason,
but still,
Justin. San Francisco is better. That's why.
no,
That's why they left you.
it's the money, man. It's the money.
No, I was kidding. I actually, you know, what's interesting. I actually went. I went to the arena. Was it in the
Chase
Coliseum?
Center. Oh,
No,
okay.
no, not the new
The
one. The old
Oracle,
one.
Oracle,
The
yeah,
Oracle.
Oracle was the old one. Yeah.
I went to the Oracle before they shut it down and they moved on.
That was the place to be, man. That I miss that arena so much. I used to go sneak into playoff games because it's right next to the to the A's Coliseum. So I would go to the A's game, and then the A's game would be over,
You
and
could walk to the bridge.
we would walk across over to the state, and it would be like the third quarter of the playoff game or something. And by that point, we could sneak in. This was like 2008 when nobody cared about the Warriors, and it was just the
Oh, gotcha.
diehards back in the We Believe. And now it's like I can't even afford a ticket to Chase Center.
But I was just looking because I want to go to the Lakers here in Staples Center. Cheapest ticket right now is like $400, like
Nah,
$400, and
man,
I was like,
it's
that's just
crazy.
nosebleeds. It's insane. So yeah, I mean, the NBA is exciting. So I want to see. Look. It's gonna be look. Also seeing. I know we're gonna get off footy real quick, but LeBron James versus Stephen Curry. I don't know if this is the last time these two will face each other in the playoffs, but man, that what was it 2018, every time you'd see the Cavs, which is the Warriors in the finals, and now you obviously you have it here. It's gonna be exciting, man. It's gonna be exciting to see this rivalry again, but I'm gonna go with Lakers in 6.
Mm-mm. Nah, nah.
Lakers in 6,
I'll
Justin.
go Warriors. I'll
Lakers
go
in
Warriors in
6.
7. I'll go Warriors in 7 because we host 7. If it was, I always think the home is really important. So you know 6 for you because you have the 6th, and then we get the 7th
It is,
home
but it
game. So
isn't. It didn't, even for you guys against the Kings and us against the Warriors, we didn't have home field advantage or home court advantage, but still made it work.
yeah. But it didn't take you 7 games,
That's what I'm saying. It's going to take us 6 games.
right? But we won Game 7 on the road. So you know what I'm saying. We won Game 5 on the road. Lost Game 6. You know. So anyway. But I think it's going to be a really good series. I think Steph versus LeBron is going to be really exciting. Steph has the domination in that series thus far. Hopefully that continues.
Because Kevin
And you
Durant
know,
helped them out, but we'll just leave it at that.
I mean, Steph won before and after KD was there, so you can make whatever argument you want. But the fact is that the only time we lost was with KD. So
Hey, that's what happens when you try to stack a
forgot
team.
about that. Forgot about that. Okay. Okay.
But look,
No, it's gonna be a great
it's
series.
gonna be great. Look, there's so much going on Tuesday. If you get a chance, definitely go to the LAFC versus Philadelphia game on Tuesday. If not, you get to watch it at home, watch some basketball as well. But look, that's gonna wrap things up here for Justin. I appreciate you for being on. And that's it. And guys, we'll catch you guys next time. And Lakers in 6, baby. Let's go.